everybody. So the TED Talk we watched was by Hamza. A couple of fun facts about him is he loves hip hop, and he's a horrible boss. So one of the things that he mentioned early in his talk was how he did not like the roles of a traditional workplace, like many people nowadays. He didn't like what the boss had to say about him being late. He was 15 minutes late. Um, then he said that when he put his 2 weeks in, all he did was those 2 weeks. He showed up extra early, and he just watched movies the entire time. Now, his boss, he didn't care that he was doing work or not. He just cared that he was there on time, and that he was actually just there. Because that's what management was, and that's what management is. But it's being transformed into something else. So he mentions the management paradox. That is, the growing organizations require management, but people do not like to be managed. I personally can say myself, I do not like to be managed. I do not like to be told what to do, when to do it, or anything along those lines. That's not me. However, I do understand that a lot of the top companies in the world, that there's management involved, but it's a little bit different form of management than the standard, typical factory management. But the ultimate question that he is asking is, what is the role for management for this next generation? And so, this is another question that he asked is, can millennials be managed? But the most importantly is, should they be managed? He says how the generation is viewed as entitled, they're lazy, they're disloyal, they're selfish, and they're extremely unmotivated. But then he breaks it down a little bit and he says that Generation Y accounts for more than 50% of the workforce now. He mentioned how our generation is built for tomorrow's workplace. I agree with that. Our workplace, the world itself, is moving towards a more technological, advanced place itself. And our generation, my generation now, is the best with technology. Better than anybody else has ever been. And so what he was talking about is how nowadays you can do your work connected to Wi-Fi. You don't have to go into work. You don't have to go into an office setting or anything like that. You can lay in your bed, you can go on vacation, and you can do your work online because all you have to do is be connected to Wi-Fi or have internet, and you can be doing it there, just virtually. So, but one of the things that, an interesting quote that he referred to was how people before, back in the day, they would work for 8 hours, they had 8 hours for recreation, and 8 hours for rest. And I think that's pretty solid because people worked 8 hours a day back then. Then they did whatever they want and they get to sleep for 8 hours. That's how it was. But times have changed. Everything's different now with technology. It's the management system is not the same. It's very clear, and more people are starting to realize that the top businesses in the world, like Google, for an example, they do not try to manage their employees. They tell them the deadlines, they tell them what needs to be done, but they don't try to tell them how to do it. They just let them go do it. And look up Google's workplace. You see all these swings, they have restaurants, they have all these little lounge areas, chairs for their employees just to work out and relax, because they understand the best work for their employees happens when they are most relaxed and most comfortable. But anyways, back to what Hamza had to say here is, he quoted from Peter Drucker. He said, the most valuable asset of a 21st century institution, whether business or non-business, will be its knowledge workers and their productivity. And I agree 100% with that quote. And then he goes in a little depth about the theory why. He's talking about how people, they don't like to, let's say, like, do your chores. Like, back at home, you have to do your chores, you have to wash the dishes, you have to do the laundry, you have to sweep. But instead of seeing it as people want to do that, you see it in more of a positive manner, like, oh, people want to do their work. They want to get the dishes done. They want to sweep the house so it looks nice. And he talks a little bit more about self-actualization with certain conditions, especially, and then he goes to his little business and what he does. And he said that he has 100% trust in his employees. He has goals, he has deadlines, but he tells them in advance. He tells them what the standards are, what they need to expect, and what to do, and he lets them do their work. He does not require them to come in to the office for meetings. You can be on the phone, on FaceTime, Skype for the meetings. You can be on vacation, you can be laying in bed, it does not matter. As long as your work is getting done, he is happy. Another thing, he talks about his leadership, how they're saying they need to be led, but he talks about how he just lets them do it. He's not going to tell his employees what to do or when to do it. He just gives them a deadline, like, hey, you have this coming up, make sure it's done by the 28th. You have 28 days to get it done. You can figure out how to get it done. It's on you. Then he talks about a culture, and he's really saying that people show up to work. He doesn't want it to be just work. He wants it to be like a community. Like, people are excited. They're happy to be there. That they're like, oh, I got to go into work today. It's like, oh, I get to go and work today. I'm super happy. I'm super stoked to be there. He wants work to be a positive environment and a positive community for his workers. And then he said, under all of these conditions, this is when the work is the most proficient and everyone is happy and the business is the most successful. And I agree. When your employees are happy, they are becoming more proficient, and that overall benefits and helps out the business. This makes you more successful. And then he talked a little bit more, Hasma talked a little bit more about the outcomes, not the outputs. He says you need to see the end of the light rather than, and see what can happen rather than just, oh, this is what you need to do. You need to come to work every day. No, he's like saying, oh, this is what you can accomplish if you do the work, do what's required. And then he talks about how he sees people as individuals. Everybody is unique. Everybody offers something uniquely different. Everybody can do it on their own. Everybody's not the same. They're not robots. And he's saying managers need to realize that and let their workers be unique in every aspect. And then, so back to the main question is, what is the role of management for the next generation? The answer is absolutely nothing. Don't do anything. Just let the workers do their work. Just give them the deadline, give them what they need to get it done, and just step aside and let them do what they gotta do. But last but not least, he talks about himself as how he helps not motivate, but helps his employees feel confident about him. He does not ever say, go do this, go do that. He says, let's go do this. I got your back. Like, let's do whatever it is. He's always there, and his employees know that, and they understand that their boss is going to be there for him. And all of this is going to help the businesses succeed. This is going to help people manage this upcoming generation. The typical management factory system, that's not going to work anymore at this day and age, especially with all the technology and how the world is evolving. People need to adapt to this, and he's doing that, and he's embracing it, and he's just trying to get the word out and let others know that they need to do that as well. Thank you.